All right, welcome to Hoops Tonight here at The Volume. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope all of you guys had an amazing week. We got a jam-packed show for you today. Kevin Durant and LeBron James played basketball against each other last night for the first time since 2018. And in the process, we learned a lot about both the Lakers and the Suns, so we're going to break that game down. You guys know the drill. Before we get started, subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. I'm so thankful for you guys and your support over the last 24 hours. We announced it at 8 a.m. yesterday Pacific time, and we already have over 5,000 subscribers. I'm incredibly thankful for how you guys have rocked with me over the last couple of years. It would mean a lot to me, those of you who haven't done so yet, to head over there and subscribe to our channel. You don't even have to head over there. This is the new channel, so just scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm going to be doing a lot more video breakdowns this year on TikTok and Instagram and on Twitter, so follow me there. Don't forget about our podcast feed under Hoops Tonight. And then last but not least, I need more mailbag questions. Keep dropping those in the YouTube comments. All right, let's talk some basketball. So one of the advantages of the Lakers going the route that they went, which is bringing everybody back, is it makes it easier to maintain any identity that you built in the past. And this team has a clear identity on both ends of the floor. On the defensive end, they are arguably the best defensive team in the league, anchored by who I believe is the best defensive player in the league, in Anthony Davis. And then on the other end of the floor, they're a heavy screen and roll team that relies on all of the ball handling they have on the floor and utilizes LeBron and AD a lot more as screeners than they did in the past, right? But that's the advantage of having D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. And even Taurean Prince has shown some ability coming off of those dribble handoffs to get downhill and finish around the rim and occasionally hit a pull-up jump shot, right? So they just have a ton of ball handling and skill around a defensive fulcrum. So it's a pick and roll attack on one side of the floor, pick and rolls, dribble handoffs, general two-man game, right? Screen and roll stuff. And then on the other end of the floor, it's Anthony Davis defending everything at the rim. And that identity came screaming off the screen yesterday, especially in that first shift. The Lakers definitely let way up off the gas, and they struggled, especially with their bench group, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And there's some important context, too, because both Devin Booker and Bradley Beal were out, but the Laker defense looked excellent in that first shift in particular. They held the Suns to just 6 points in their first 6 minutes, basically with their starters on the floor. And again, important context, even though KD still had skill around him, even though, Grayson Allen's one of the best spot-up players in the league, Eric Gordon is a very good shooter. Yusuf Nurkic is a very good pick-and-roll big that can make decisions and screens well and can pass out of the short roll and stuff like that. Josh Okogie is really the only limited offensive player in that group, but it's obviously going to be much harder to guard the real Phoenix Suns that the Lakers are going to see, I'm pretty sure, late next week, right? So there's important context there. However, I thought they did a really nice job. They were able to, because of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal not being on the floor, they were able to do things like zone up on KD's ISOs. Now, what that means is typically with help defense, it's really hard to do in a traditional shell drill because of the defensive 3-second drill, right? Or a rule, right? So like if I've got the ball on the right side of the floor and I'm guarding a shooter on the opposite end of the floor, I can only have my feet in the paint for 3 seconds before I have to step out, and I constantly kind of have to step in and out of the paint so that which affects my ability to help. And a lot of really smart offensive players will time their drives to right as you're stepping out of the paint to try to make it so that you're a step slow as you're recovering, right? Well, one of the things that the Lakers did last night that you'll see is you see LeBron just zone up, so just ignore his man, come over all the way onto the opposite side of the paint and basically just stand there. And then you have Anthony Davis behind him and the other two guards ready to rotate. It just makes it a lot easier, or a lot harder, I should say, for Kevin Durant to drive the basketball. It basically turns him into a jump shooter. So again, important context. Probably won't be able to do some of that aggressive stuff against the Suns when they're at full strength, but they will be able to do that against a lot of the teams in the league, what they did defensively in that first half. They held the Suns to just an 81 offensive rating with Kevin Durant on the floor in this game. Anthony Davis had 6 blocks, was just causing all sorts of problems around the basket. The whole team was playing passing lanes well. I thought it was an impressive defensive performance from the Lakers. And again, like regardless of what the eventual ceiling is of this Suns team, Kevin Durant's one of the best offensive players in the world, and it's not easy to slow down an offense led by him. Anthony Davis looks poised for an MVP campaign. I mentioned the 6 blocks earlier, but he also looks like he's in great shape. His jump shot looks great. He hit another 3 yesterday, and it was kind of funny because it was like a jab step 3 on the left wing, and you could hear the crowd urging him to shoot, which is very different from what it used to be like in years past, where it was almost like the opposite. It was almost like a groan when AD would shoot because it was almost certain that he was going to miss. And that's an interesting kind of reversal of fortune. He is converting jump shots at 1.22 points per jump shot in preseason. That's awesome. He was below 0.8 points per jump shot in the regular season last year. LeBron James also looked great. LeBron had this crazy transition attack in the first half, in the early first quarter, where got a rebound and was like sprinting up and down the floor, like just chucked Eric Gordon off and like sent him into camera row, and then finished at the rim over Kevin Durant. And you're like, wow, he still has all that athletic pop, and he's in his 21st season. He hit 3 threes, including 2 of which that were off the bounce. He's at 1.21 points per jump shot himself in preseason. Now, he wasn't as bad as AD was last year, but he wasn't good either. He was at about 0.9 of a point per jump shot. And so obviously they need him to improve there as well. Not only was he 1.21 points per jump shot in preseason, he was 1.13 points per pull-up jump shot. That's even more important, especially in the pick and roll coverages, for his ability to kind of duck behind the pick and knock down that 3, right? He was at 0.87 points per pull-up jump shot last year. Now, again, as far as the jump shot goes for both LeBron James and Anthony Davis, this is really small sample size stuff, right? Like, it's just preseason. Defensive intensity will go up. Pressure will go up. Obviously, this is just preseason. But let's just call it what it is. It's obviously a much better sign than if the two of them had come into preseason and just missed all their jump shots, right? So, like, obviously it's an indicator of what could be an improved jump shooting season from LeBron James and Anthony Davis coming into this year. LeBron's also been really efficient on his ISOs and post-ups. He's run 12 of them so far in preseason, and he's scored 15 points. That's good. Anytime LeBron is well up over a point per possession in his half-court shot creation, that's important. And then Kevin Durant looked absolutely incredible as well. He kind of got a little bit out of rhythm early in the game. The Lakers, the zoning up was throwing him off a little bit. Taurean Prince was being super physical. But then Taurean Prince picked up a couple of fouls. They had to throw some other defenders on him. And then KD started to get his like rhythm down in terms of getting separation and shooting over the top. I think he was 8 for 14 from the field in this game and finished with 21, 22 points, something along those lines. He's run 14 ISOs in preseason that have led to 23 points. That's insane. That's like well over 1.5 points per possession. He shot 8 for 9 from the field in those situations. Again, that 14 ISOs leading to 23 points is including passes. But even when he shot in those situations, he's 8 for 9 from the field. That's absolutely outrageous. Jared Vanderbilt in particular is going to be a very important Laker in this Suns matchup because he just gives you that additional bit of perimeter defense. Again, like we talked about earlier, the advantage of not having Beal and Booker out there is, you know, you put Taurean Prince on KD and you kind of feel okay elsewhere on the floor, right? And you can do things like zone up. But when Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are out there, you're going to need 3 good perimeter defenders. Now, I think you can get away with putting an Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell on a Bradley Beal because he's probably just going to be the least aggressive out of those 3 guys, and maybe you can get away with that. But you're going to need someone that you can throw at KD, and you're going to need someone that you can throw at Devin Booker because those 2 are going to be hyper-aggressive throughout these games. And Jared Vanderbilt's dealing with a heel issue right now. I think he's on track to play in the season opener on Tuesday, though. The NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweeter offer every game day this October. There are 8 games this weekend that have point spreads that are either 3 or smaller than 3. Lots of good betting opportunities for you guys to take advantage of. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code HOOPS. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet 5 on the NFL. That's code HOOPS, HOOPS, only on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Overall, I was really impressed by the Suns and their defense. This has been something that not just myself, but so many folks have been critical of throughout the entire summer since the Bradley Beal trade. This idea that, you know, obviously they're going to have all this offensive skill and talent, but where's the rim protection? Where's the physicality and rebounding? Where's the point of attack defense? Like, where's all of those vitally important elements to any basketball team succeeding, right? And I just was blown away throughout that entire game with the sheer amount of intensity and physicality you saw on the perimeter from guys like Josh Okogie. Eric Gordon was bringing that intensity. Jordan Goodwin came off the bench and was playing physical defense. Nasir Little was battling with LeBron in that second quarter run, just hanging on his arms and holding him. And you're going to get away with a lot of that with LeBron because he does a lot of it back to you, right? I've always been okay with the whistle LeBron gets, and you've got to be ready for a wrestling match when you go up against LeBron. Nasir Little came in ready to do that. They were doing a good job on D'Angelo Russell, too, playing physical with him. That's something that's been known to cause issues for him. Even Grayson Allen was ball pressuring the hell out of Austin Reeves and making him a little bit uncomfortable. And I think this is a Frank Vogel thing because one of the most important parts of a Frank Vogel-led defense is ball pressure. This is why he loved Avery Bradley all those years ago. This is why he loved, Dennis Schroeder when he was in a Laker jersey. He's a big believer in, from the opening tip, regardless of who's bringing the ball up the floor, we're going to ball pressure the hell out of him. It's very important for a couple of different reasons. Frank Vogel wants to funnel you into his paint defense, and the only reaction to ball pressure is to dribble past a guy. Ball pressure will almost always speed a player up and make him want to do things before he actually wants to do them, right? And so if you ball pressure, you're going to force the guard to make aggressive moves downhill into the teeth of your defense around the rim. It's also a fundamental element of Frank Vogel's pick and roll coverage. He wants to chase over the top of screens and apply back pressure. And so he needs guys in his system that can be physical at the point of attack and make opposing ball handlers uncomfortable. And that was something I saw from the top down in that game last night, almost as an identity thing for the Suns. Now, again, it's going to be a little different because Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are going to play 70-plus minutes a game, right? And so that's 70-plus minutes that's coming away from guys like Eric Gordon and Jordan Goodwin and Josh Okogie, right? So again, it's going to be vitally important for Bradley Beal and Devin Booker to bring that same level of intensity. But that's a big part of why Josh Okogie is going to start games. He's going to start games so that he can bring that ball pressure, right? But at the end of the day, the Lakers, let's say that Josh Okogie's guarding LeBron, it's going to be Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell bringing the ball up the floor. And if Bradley Beal and Devin Booker don't bring that intensity, it's going to cause problems, right? Or if it ends up being Okogie on one of those guys, it'll be the other guy that brings it up. It's going to be something you see around the league because most leagues have most teams have multiple, high-end ball handlers that you have to contain. So I'm really curious to see when we get into the regular season, just the overall level of physicality and ball pressure that we see out of Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, especially as backcourt players, and the fact that they're going to be on the floor as much as they're going to be. One last note on the Lakers side of things. Jackson Hayes continues to be like a much better option than Christian Wood. Christian Wood played the second half of the first quarter, and Jackson Hayes didn't come in until the start of the second quarter. So it's clear that Wood's minutes are kind of biting into Jackson Hayes' minutes. That's something that I'm going to be watching over the course of the season. I know Christian Wood's in bad shape right now. That's what I've been hearing from behind the scenes, and you could plainly see it on the court. But so obviously there's some potential that in time he's going to get in better shape and start playing better. But I just don't think he's as good as a backup center option as Jackson Hayes. And when you play Christian Wood, it takes minutes away from guys like Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt, who are just better players. So unless Christian Wood gets into shape pretty quickly, I think it's something that they're going to have to consider doing. And then if he does, like moving him from the rotation entirely. And then it's one of those things where he's going to have his opportunities. It's not like you're saying Christian Wood go sit the pine for the rest of the season. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on this team. They're going to miss games. Jared Vanderbilt's already missing time because of a heel issue. If he doesn't play on open night, Christian Wood has to play, right? There are going to be times throughout the regular season that guys are in and out of the lineup, and you're going to have to lean on your backup center position even more, right? So it's not like Christian Wood's not going to have his opportunities. I just think when this team is healthy and put together, it makes most sense to use them as a typical 10-man rotation. AD and Jackson Hayes at the center. LeBron James and Rui Hachimura at the 4. Taurean Prince and Jared Vanderbilt at the 3. Max Christie at the backup 2 with Austin Reeves as the starting 2. And then D'Angelo Russell as the starting 1 with Gabe Vincent as the backup 1. When they're healthy and they're running a 10-man regular season rotation, that is the grouping that makes the most sense. That keeps your best players in the rotation. All it takes is LeBron missing a game, Anthony Davis missing a game, or Rui missing a game, or even Jared Vanderbilt missing a game for you to find opportunities to get Christian Wood in there so that he can demonstrate, hey, I'm in shape now, or hey, I'm willing to commit more on the defensive end now. But it's just too often in preseason, they would look really good and then they would put Christian Wood out there with LeBron in that bench group, and then they would just really struggle. And I just think, like, especially since LeBron's done well with your rim running bigs in the past, like he used to do this with Dwight Howard, he used to do this with JaVale McGee. I would just like to see LeBron run a Jackson Hayes-led bench group. I just think that makes the most sense in the long run.